Hello everyone, welcome to this 10th video on Google Sheet. In this video, we'll discuss how we can build charts in Google Sheets and how we can customize those charts so that we can directly share these results with our stakeholders. As you can see on my screen, this is the sheet which we discussed last time where we discussed how we can query the data to get some results quickly. And in now we will see how we can build some charts on top of this queried data. So not only queried data, you can actually build it on pivots, on some reports, formulated reports as well. But here in this video, I'll just implement it on this query data sets only. So you can see on my screen that we have some charts here which is already built on this data. So we have this cumulative total cases for India in 2022. There is one chart where we have this cumulative numbers. And in this chart, we have both the daily and cumulative COVID cases for India. And these are the two line charts. So the difference in this chart is that we have two lines and they are on different axes. So daily new cases is on vertical left axis while the cumulative cases are on vertical right axis. And here we have some bar charts. The first one is again it's neatly formatted, but the difference with this and this chart is that the bar two bars are colored differently. So we just want to highlight a few points here to this bar chart, and therefore these two bars are colored differently. The third one is where I have removed many of these things which are not useful because we are already showing the numbers on the top of the bar. So these axes are not useful in that case, so we can remove them. And then I have also changed the background color, so you can change it as per your need. So let's see how we can build these charts. So for that, I'll just duplicate this sheet and then I'll start building these charts again. Let it roll. Okay. So I'll delete this. I'll delete this. Delete these three as well. So the first chart was a line chart for cumulative cases for India. So this query that you see on the top is not exactly the same which I have used here because I have filtered this COVID dataset which we have been using throughout this video series for India only. So I'll just update this query at the top. Okay, now, so this is the query I am using, and I'm also ordering this data straight by date so that when I am creating a chart using this data, it is in proper order. So now to create a chart, I will just click here and select a few columns first. So from A2 to AC using shift button. Okay. And then I'll do control shift down to select all the rows. And then I'll click on insert chart. Okay. So you can see, So I think there was some chart already below. I'll just delete that. So this is the chart it initially creates. Let me just cut and paste it at the top. This is the chart it initially creates by default. So now we have to make some changes. So we'll click on these three dots to edit the chart. And the first thing that we can do is that this country is not required. So it's all for India. So you can just remove it from the series option here. And in x axis, we'll select date. Okay, now the date is in x axis, so we can remove this date from here. Now, by default, it is treating labels as text. So, what it does is that it is showing values for all the days. If I remove it, it will remove a few values and it will just show me the chart, maybe a weekly sometimes or a monthly sometimes. So, it is showing monthly values on the x-axis, the month, the start of the month on the x-axis, and the values for all the days actually. Now we can use this is a bar chart or the column chart, but we can change it to line as well. So let's just change it to a line chart. Okay, so this is, there are two options, line chart and then smooth line chart. Out of these two we can select any, and then there are some areas chart option as well. So I'm just selecting this line chart. And now what next? So this is, I have a chart here. Now we can do some formatting. So what I generally do is that I first go to customize chart style, and then this is kind of default chart. But when these labels are not everything is bold here. So if you select this wide, it will actually make everything bold, and then it is actually easy to read. But yeah, there are many options available. So you can select, say, Roboto, Vadana, Tahoma. You can select these, and you can see that there is some difference in this chart. But let's select white, and now you can change the background color from here, chart border color. These things you can do. But let's do some basic formatting here. So for that, we can add a title maybe at the top. So it's cumulative COVID cases India in 2022. I've just written a title at the top. Now I can format it as well. So I'll make it bold. I'll make the alignment center. I can change the font size as well, and then I can change the text color. So generally I keep it black, but we can change it to something else as well. Maybe this clear. We can select this blue color as well. What next? So the charts, we should have x-axis y-axis as well. So we can add horizontal axis title, which would be date here. Again, we can, so by default, because of that this chart style that we selected, it is already bold. And then vertical axis title, we can write cumulative. And you can see from the chart as well, because it's cumulative cases, it's always increasing. So this is some basic formatting which we can do to this chart. So let's see how does it look like as compared to this chart. It's kind of same, but we'll just go through some other options as well available while formatting this chart. So we discussed about chart style, axis and title. Now series. Here actually, if there are many, you can select them and do the formatting. But because it is just one series here, we have only one option in this drop down. Okay, so we can change the line color. We can make it something else. We can change the line type. It's dotted or dash dot or dashed or long dash dot. And then there is this option as well, long dash. Okay, so there is dash, long dash, and then dots option as well along with them. Now these points, if you want to make anything else, you can do. Okay, but here because there are we have values for each day, so we will not be able to actually see much. I mean, these points won't be separated; they're quite close. And then we can select the point size as well. So let me keep it to. Okay, and this line opacity also you can change if you want to. Maybe if there are multiple lines and if you want to highlight one line which is important, then for other lines you can just keep this opacity low, and for the one, the important one, you can keep it 100%. Line thickness also you can change. So we have these two options for line, these two options for point. And then if you want to add data labels, you can do that. If I click, it gives me all the data labels. So to see that, yeah. But it won't be useful here because these points are pretty close, and then just to look at the data level for all the points, it won't be useful here. And then there's not much variation from this point onwards. Okay, so but yeah, we can just look at the options available here. So we can decide the position of the data labels, left, right, center, above, below. Those kind of options are here, auto as well. And then we can change the font of the data label as well, the size, and we can make it bold, italics, and we can change the color as well. Then there is an option of legend as well. So if there is a legend, I can select top, bottom, left, right, inside, auto. So in auto, it's not present because just one line, and therefore and we can provide that information in the header as well. So there is no need to add a separate legend for that. But yeah, we can change the font. Okay, we can change the size. We can make it bold or italics, and we can change the text color as well. There are few options on horizontal axis as well. Again, this font size, formatting, color you can change. You can even reverse the axis order. So, for example, here it is starting from 1st of January 2022 to, let's see, what is the date? 14th of May. It is there, the axis is from 1st of January to 14th of May. If you change the order here, you see the whole plot changes. It's from 1st of May, as you can see, to the 1st of January. It's actually from 14th of May, yeah. And then you can slant the labels. So these, so many a times if your values in the x-axis or the labels in the x-axis are crowded, you can actually make it vertical, or you can slant the labels to make it look better. So I'm just removing this option because it's not required. I want to see a trend here. And then I'm also removing this data level option because again, it's not required here. Let us change this color to something else, maybe a deep red, something like this. Yeah. The vertical axis also we can do these formattings, changing the font, the size, and this making it bold or italics and changing the color as well. We can also select the minimum and the maximum value. So if you, because this line is between 30 million to say 45 million, so we can just select those values here. Say 30 million to 45 million. Okay, so now this option, if you want to hide that data beyond this range, you can do that. Or if you unselect this, then there would be a space for the range which is not present, okay, between these two values. So there is nothing on the y-axis here, but then the chart starts from the top between these two ranges only, minimum and the maximum. So this is kind of zooming to your chart. If your chart does not starts from zero, the values are not starting from zero, it is within certain range. And if you want to just highlight that, you can do it like this. And then you can change the scale to log as well. So these kind of changes you can make. Yeah, so let's go back to the way it was present earlier. Okay. Now in grid lines and ticks, we have the option to select vertical and horizontal axis. And these are major spacing type. So right now it is these major axes on this vertical axis, the major lines, they are, the step size is 10 million. But you can make a change here. Okay, so either by the step size or the count, whatever way you like. So for example, if I change the step size to 5 million, how does it look like? So you see now these values are at the space of 5 millions. And then if I change this to say 4, then it breaks this space between two major lines into five buckets. So if you make it 4, there are 4 lines in between, then it divides it into 5 buckets. So each bucket will correspond to 1 million. So these lines actually make it easier for the end user to understand what is the exact value here. Not exact, but yeah, what is the closest value. You can change the grid line color as well. Okay, you can, yeah, major, minor, both, or you see, these are different. So the major ones are green and the minor ones are blue. Then you can select this major ticks and minor ticks. This option is also there. Similarly for horizontal axis, you can do the spacing and then you can select these ticks. You can change the color. These all things you can do. Okay. So let me just unselect this for now. So major grid lines are there like this. Let me make it 10. Yeah. 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 So these are the options available here while creating a line chart, which we can use to make our chart better. So now let's see how we can build the other chart where we have two values on different axes. So again, we'll select this data A2 to D2 by pressing Shift, and then I'll do Control Shift down arrow to select all the data set, and then I'll click on Insert Chart. So here I'll again cut this chart, paste it at the top, and then we'll modify this, format this. So let's see if you want to. First of all, we'll make it a line chart, and because there is a large difference in the scale of these numbers, one chart is pretty close to one line is pretty close to zero here, which is not very useful. So we'll have to change the axis. Before doing that, we'll just remove this country again, keep date on x-axis, remove this series from here, and then we'll go to customize, select this wide. So this is what I like. And then if we click on series, we have this option apply to all series, but we will do it selectively. First, we'll select cumulative total cases and we'll put it on right axis. So now you can see the difference. So this cumulative numbers are with respect to the values on the right side of this y-axis, right y-axis. And these daily new cases are shown on the left y-axis. So now you can see the difference quite easily. So this is how you do that. You select the series and just move it to the right axis. Okay. Now we can change the color here again. So let's make it, so the cumulative one, let's make it red here. The daily new cases, let's make it orange here. The line type, we can make it like this. And yeah, for here we can keep the line type as it is. But yeah, here we do have a legend, so it's directly picks these names from the values at the top. So if you change the values here, these names will change. But yeah, first of all, we can just add the titles here, chart title. So in cases, we can make it bold, center align, and then the color we can select maybe this. So the legends. Now what next? So we discussed about the options. Let's see what is missing here. Yeah, so these two y-axis titles are missing, and the name you can keep it anything you wish. Just the context should be there with the data, and these also colors you can change. So let's do that. So again, we'll edit the chart. So here we can select this vertical axis title. So this is daily new cases. Make it bold and change the color to this. And the right vertical axis is cumulative cases. Again, it's bold by default. But yeah, let's keep it like this. This. both. We can change the font size as well. And x-axis, horizontal axis title, and just add date here. We can again change the color here as well. This legend, if you just want to remove, so it's understood for many that if it is a cumulative number, it would be an increasing number only. But yeah, so you can keep the legend, or if you want to remove, you can select none here. Okay, and now if you want to do this vertical axis, right vertical axis, this major grid lines and major ticks. If you want to add this, you can do major minor ticks. You can add. Okay. So by clicking this, you can show the axis line. See, otherwise it is just showing the grid lines. So this way you can add two different lines on the same chart, and you can put it on different axes if there is a very large difference in the values, because in that case if you put it on the same axis, one of the lines will not be visible, so it becomes very important to do that. So that's all in this video. In the next video, we'll discuss how we can build those bar charts. Okay, so do subscribe my channel and share these videos with others if you find it useful. Thank you.